Hey there, Star Wars fans. I'm Matt.
And I'm Ez.
And we're here today to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 Resurrection DLC. Kind of review it and then talk more in depth about the plot and what that means for Star Wars going forwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty... played it last night.
I just played it last night. I woke up, played it early this morning. It's 3 missions. It's about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it picks up right where the campaign leaves off with Husk killing Del Meeko.
Yeah. They did a little recap for us and everything too, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Gleb is like talking to Hask and on her way out to wherever, trying to still, I guess, like persuade him that she's relevant and can provide security and different things, and continue on with Project Resurrection.
Right. Which we find out in this, what Project Resurrection is. I totally thought they were going to be trying to resurrect the Emperor. I thought that's what it was. Because they showed you the Praetorian Guards with like the his face on it. And
right.
Is that what you thought Project Resurrection was going to end up being?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be something like, the word resurrection,
Right.
We took that and we more literal, right? And we thought that it would be like an old Sith Lord or something, or Emperor Palpatine, but I get it. It's the idea that we're going to resurrect the Empire. In a sense,
Yeah, which seems kind of odd, because if I thought Palpatine's plan was like, if with Operation Cinder we're going to burn it all down, like you don't deserve.
Right. Yeah, it was to burn it all down and to
I
basically
guess then start over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And so to rise anew. I mean, basically he saw that, if he were to die, then clearly that his empire was unworthy of him. You know what I mean? Like that was their fault. And so we needed something stronger and better to take its place. So yeah, I mean, that was that's what we learned about Project Resurrection.
So that was kind of the big, plot point moving forward into this. But anyway, so the game starts off, and right out the gate, you meet Zay.
Yeah, Zay.
Yeah.
Not Rey.
Zay. So
Zay.
Immediately they're like, nope, Rey is not that. Like that was like a 1% chance. It was just interesting the way they left it off.
Right, but is Zay her sister? I mean, is like
could be. Looks like it's about the
Rey
same
and
age.
Zay. I mean, why are they that similar in name?
Yeah,
But
Zay seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Zay. I like Zay a lot.
So anyway, Iden and Zay are in these X-Wings, and they're chasing after what was that guy's name? Sheev Sergey is who they're chasing after?
Uncle Sheev.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like flying around. So you get to fly around. It's actually a pretty cool mission. So each mission is pretty much, it's mostly starfighter missions, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You're only on the ground a little bit in this campaign.
Yeah, so well, they get like some sort of distress call or whatever, right? And that's when they go with Shiv to and they come across the Janata security forces and stuff. So, and I can like some hologram. There was some message that basically, they had to take them out, and that was the first sort of like
the first little mission. But then you go back to, what's that planet called?
Vardos.
Yeah, you go back to Vardos,
Mm-hmm.
which and you meet up with not Gleb, but what's the other guy's name?
Hask?
No, the alien guy you're running around with.
Oh,
yeah, I'm done.
Shiv. Yeah.
Yep. So you're running around with him. But anyway, so you get back to Vardos, and he mentions that, hey, it's snowing here.
Yeah, right.
And then Iden's like, no, that's atmospheric ash from Operation Cinder.
Right, yeah.
So you still get to see, like, just how, much damage the Empire did. So it kind of, like, reiterates why it was so important. Like, when you see Iden's story of it. And so, like, that I think was kind of a theme here, is almost like you're having to deal in this campaign, this DLC, you're having to deal with, like, the things of the past.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it was kind of, you're right. It almost fit the theme of like Last Jedi. Like, we've got to kill the past, let it go, and then move forward.
Yep.
And that's really what these little 3 missions were about, actually.
Yeah, and so you end up running into Hask again. and he basically tells you that, hey, I killed Del Mico, by the way, and now I'm going to kill your daughter. And so he shoots down the ship, and you spend the second mission racing to go get Zay, and then you end up meeting up with her. And then the third mission is you hijack some TIE fighters, and you like sneak on board, like this Imperial ship, and it's actually kind of cool the way they do it, where it's about to go into hyperspace, and you're like, we got to get in here, and you're like flying into the ship, and then you end up crash landing on the ship. It was pretty cool. And then you basically are running around trying to take out this ship while it's in hyperspace, and then you end up having the last little confrontation with Hask, and I totally saw the way they were doing the ending, where you see he's got Zay, and they're fighting, and then you see Zay like kind of with the gun, and you just see it shoot a couple times, but you don't see where those shots go. And so I was like, I totally got hit. Yeah, it was kind of predictable, but I mean, it was cool the way they did it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And all this is taking place. So this is happening right as the events of Force Awakens are going on. Right. So like you end up seeing the ship is racing to Starkiller Base, and you actually it ends with them having plans for isn't it plans for Starkiller Base?
It's plans for the Dreadnought.
For the Dreadnought, right? Yeah.
And Dio, or is it Dio the droid?
Yeah.
Has like basically reroutes all reinforcements away from Starkiller Base to give the Resistance more time, which was really cool too. So and you actually saw the red sort of like planets, like the New Republic blowing up. Yeah. So you saw that.
And they talk about that. They talk about like, well, she's like, well, the Senate will never stand for this, and he's like, yeah, the Senate's gone.
Yep, they're gone.
Yeah, which is when in Force Awakens we see them basically use.
This is kind of cool, man. You get that perspective, like. We know what's happening in Force Awakens, and this is exactly what Iden was doing during that time. Yeah. So really cool.
No, yeah, it was really cool. But so then Iden has actually a pretty good last little moment there with Zay, where she's like, no, you need to like go on, and you need to fight, and like we fight so that others can live. And it was kind of cool, especially like if you go back and you read, we talked about this before, the Inferno Squad book. Yeah. You just have so much more backstory, and so having that, I think, really makes, especially even this last few missions, a lot better. Right. You really get so much more of Iden's backstory. So I recommend that again because I think it's a pretty good book. Yeah. But so then Iden dies, and then we see Zay stand up, and she sees Starkiller Base get destroyed, and she's like, okay, we got to go find Princess Leia. She ends up talking to her, and Princess Leia's like, well, we're pulling back because we're being chased by the Imperials, which is how Last Jedi starts. And so then she's like, no, we need you to go find allies for us. And we all know how that goes in Last Jedi, where they send out the distress signal and nobody shows up. But at least we know, hey, maybe there are more allies out there.
Yeah, I bet you there'll be something that's going on where basically the First Order is all over the place. I think it's more that they couldn't get there. Yeah, they were bogged down in their own dilemma and stuff, and so everyone's so spread apart. But yeah, she goes up to the Outer Rim, and she's seeking out allies for Leia. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So Uncle Ziv and Zay are out there doing their good deeds for the Resistance. So
and we do see. I do think they were talking about, or Hask mentioned that. We've been planning this for a very long time, and they show you just how many ships they have, and they're like, wow, they have enough ships to take over like everything.
Yeah, and that's why it helped to make a lot more sense in The Last Jedi when the first line says the First Order reigns. Yeah. So they reign supreme, over the galaxy essentially when The Last Jedi is
How did they acquire all this stuff? How did they build this up without people really?
Well, in Bloodlines, that's the thing, it was all on the black market, and by the time Leia finds them, they are huge. Like, they had done this in secret on the back parts of the galaxy.
And maybe, and we see in The Last Jedi, the scene everybody hates, the stuff on Canto Bight. I mean, maybe that is actually going to play a bigger role in books and stuff where we get like more of the backstory about it's these people are just financing this war because hey, they make money off it and they don't care.
Right, and that
it kind of gets lost in The Last Jedi, but I think it's an important.
And there is a whole book on Canto Bight actually that came out not too long ago, and haven't read it yet, but I bet you that does have a lot of that in there. And the other thing too is with Project Resurrection, it's also about the children. It's about them basically converting and raising from either infancy or a very young age.
That's Finn's whole story.
Right, these children. So they've been doing that for years.
Right.
I mean, that's not like something new that's going on, but they're still doing it up until the point of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So, and into The Last Jedi. So it's like these colonies where they're basically, I don't know, maybe they've captured some systems, and it's just sort of like as they breed and a new generation comes along, boom, they're just indoctrinated into the First Order.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of
It's almost kind of interesting how they're doing it compared to how the Jedi were doing it in like 1, 2, and 3, where we want to train these younglings, train them from the get go,
right, and indoctrinate them essentially. Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what they're doing on just a larger scale, a more military scale. Yeah. So, which was, so it helped to kind of explain a little bit more about how big the First Order is and what all they're doing. Because you still see someone like Gideon running around doing all the things that he's doing and working for, and Gleb, who had trained was a part of the Imperial Academy and had trained, kids there for a long time. Now is continuing to do that for the First Order in Project Resurrection. So, it's kind of things we kind of knew that, but it was nice to see it and nice to know that it's I don't know, just to have it confirmed, I guess, in our minds. So, but I'm telling you, there's something about this whole Zay and Rey connection. I know it's AY versus EY and people, whatever. I'm telling you, too close.
There's something.
There's too close.
Yeah.
What? Zay and Rey? Seriously, that's not. That's not twin girls right there, twin sisters.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be twin sisters, but
I mean, related in some way or whatever, I don't know. So that was kind of cool. Iden's dead. Del Meeko's dead. Inferno Squad now is
Zay. Yeah, and Leia says that. She says the Inferno Squad. Now
Exactly. So Zay continues Inferno Squad. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
it was good. It's a free little update, which is kind of cool. Nice little addition to Battlefront. Again, I think it's just so weird because hey, we're getting good content from Battlefront, and just like The Last Jedi, a lot of people hate it. So.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't know if we're gonna get more campaign story modes or what's gonna happen. But I do think like Zay's a cool character. I think so. Like. I don't know, maybe we'll get a book, maybe we'll get something to see like what's going on. I would imagine, hey, she's going out to the Outer Rim to help get allies. So, Leia at least thinks there's allies out there. We know that those allies don't show up in Last Jedi, but I don't know. I think when Last Jedi ends, they kind of want to make you think like, oh, the Resistance is literally these like 12 people. But I think it's probably a little bit bigger than that.
Oh, yeah, and this just was another way to kind of show that and confirm that. I mean, I truly believe there was some reason that they could not get there. And they showed us that the First Order is, vast and spreads across most of the galaxy. And when they knock out, you literally in one swipe take out the New Republic. Okay, who is there left to oppose you? The Resistance wasn't as well-oiled of a machine as the Rebel Alliance because... Right. Or at least not at its...
Well, the Rebel Alliance had been,
its height.
The Rebel Alliance had been around had been building over years and years and years and years. This seems like it's all pretty new.
Yeah, it is, because, in Bloodlines, you see that, Leia decides to form a resistance because of what she has learned. And basically, the New Republic is kind of bogged down in sort of this, we don't know about it, just yet. There's a lot of politicking, and some people seem to have known about it, maybe been involved with it. So, you already see this corruption within like the New Republic. And what's crazy is that ultimately they're like destroyed because they just were blind. They had their own fleet though, and they kind of backed up the resistance.
Yeah.
They kind of supported each other, but they were separate organizations. And I don't know that Leia had really rallied a lot of people together and really saw the First Order as a threat. People were kind of like, are we really going to go risk our lives for? Do we really know who or what they are? And then eventually they get to the point where they're just a full-fledged issue, knock out the whole Hosnian Prime.
Yeah.
And so
because when Haska's like, the Senate's done nothing. It's like, what has the Senate done? And we see in Bloodlines, like, they're just bickering and they can't figure out anything like to go forward. So maybe that's the thing, is they're just, because they don't really have any idea what's going on. Hey, here's the First Order. Hey, we've been planning all this stuff all along. Deal with it. Like,
yep. I mean, it sounds like George Lucas and Lucasfilm and Disney just have an issue with Congress.
Yeah, apparently. Because that seems to be the revolving thread in Star Wars.
But who doesn't have a problem with Congress?
It's true, yeah.
So,
yeah. So anyway, okay, what's that planet again?
Bardos.
Yeah, so they mentioned that on Bardos, like, there's still people living here. And stuff like that. So again, I think that we've seen just in Star Wars in the past couple years, which is good. Like, you look at Rogue One, you look at this. It shows you just like why living in the Empire was like pretty bad. And I think that's been something that at least like Star Wars has kind of been like pushing a little bit more, I feel like, because if you go back and watch 4, 5, and 6, you're just like, you're following Luke and Leia and they're just fighting the Empire, but we never get why the Empire is really like that bad to live in.
Yeah.
And so that's just another thing to show you here. Like, well, they basically destroyed this planet just because we didn't want to deal with, we're just going to burn the Empire down. But it's like all the people, it's like, what did that have?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Aiden at one point also says if I joined the Resistance earlier.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That was interesting, yeah.
So was she...
it was really that she just didn't know, because we had said earlier, to go check out the book. She's always believed that even when she was in the Empire, she was giving her life to protect the Imperial citizens.
Yeah.
And so that was, she just didn't realize who and what the Emperor was about, and she kind of saw that, in the first part of this campaign, which was really, really cool. So yeah, I don't know. She says that, but it's just more that like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I was once supporting these people who killed Del Mico and tried to kill my daughter and stuff, and my friends, and this is just horrible to think that you were on the wrong side.
Right.
So
So now Aiden's gone.
Yeah.
Cool little character.
Yeah.
That we've kind of had. We were introduced to, and then she's gone this year. All this year.
Yeah.
Kind of just an interesting thing, really. You get a book, and then you get a game, and then you get like some DLC, and you kind of get her whole little arc.
Yeah. Are you surprised that they did this, though? Are you surprised that they killed her off or not?
I mean, a little.
Yeah, because I was thinking that they would leave out the idea, let the rumor mill sort of churn more about maybe her showing up in a live action episode 9 or something.
Why? And I kind of thought that too, because like the one, because it's an actress, like the one who plays it. Yeah.
Yeah. Janina Gavankar. Yeah. I thought that'd be kind of cool. I mean, she's well liked and was really well received. So I thought, man, that'd be kind of cool to add another leader to Holdo's gone.
I know.
And all this stuff.
It's so weird what they're doing right now in Star Wars, where they're like, hey, we're going to create these characters. Like, I don't know. Do you think I don't think they thought Rogue One was going to be as successful as it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they wanted it to be.
Because, man, it's like you introduce all these really cool characters. Like Jyn Erso is like a really cool character. Well, she's gone. Like, okay, so we can't use them anymore. And I don't know. They're like we want to push Star Wars in this new direction. Well, you keep creating these cool characters and then killing them. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just interesting the route they're going. And then you give us characters like Rose. Hey, here's a character you'll like. Nope. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It really, for me, it's really
Snoke,
not about.
I mean, same thing with Snoke. Here's a really cool, interesting character. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, it's not really for me about the like a character like Rose or someone who's mid-level or whatever. It's like I did actually think maybe Aiden or someone who in a position of leadership, would kind of. Who else do we know? Even when you throw in Holdo, like we had said in our discussion earlier. Had they have known how things were going to go with Carrie Fisher, that changes everything. They probably didn't think they had to rely on other characters to fill that leadership role, and now they kind of do.
That's it. You're talking about our Patreon podcast?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on our Patreon podcast. You can check it out. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, like they could introduce someone else later on, and it'd be super cool. Let me see. When did they bring in Mon Mothma?
She's in 4.
She's in 4. Yeah.
Isn't she in 4 at the Battle of Yavin when she's talking? She tells them all what's going on, and then she shows up again in 6.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that actually. Yeah. Anyways,
so it's early.
It would be nice. Yeah, it is. It would be nice to. Yeah, they need to introduce someone else, like a new. I mean, Poe is going to be there, right?
Right.
And if what they could do is in 9, I'm already speculating about 9, right? But like, Poe is now the new leader, right?
Essentially,
right. And so then when he turns to someone else and says, "This is, essentially another Admiral Holdo," walks out in 9. That's fine. Through Poe, we legitimize this other person that he's known and shows some what have you. There's also this character, gosh, I forgot his name the other day. Snaps, Wexley. Is it Wexley? Yeah, Wexley Snaps.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, close. Yeah, type in Snaps, and he's part of their. He's an X-wing pilot, but he's someone who his mom was a big deal, and
Wexley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Temmin Wexley Snaps. Oh, it's the guy from Heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's been kind of a big deal in the books and stuff, and is somebody who Poe sort of like.
We see him in Force Awakens. I don't think we saw him in Last Jedi.
I think we did.
Did we?
I think so, but I'd have to go back and check. I thought we did.
I don't remember,
even if it's briefly. But yeah, so he could be someone that maybe we pass on. Like he steps up to more of like Poe's position.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now that Poe's going to be like the new leader.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about this in our Patreon podcast with Princess Leia. Now Poe, I mean, I think everybody's getting shifted around because of
I do too. I do too. But Lieutenant Connix, I think now, like, push her. Turn her from a lieutenant into like a general or something. You know what I mean? Like keep her, captain, whatever. Move her up the ranks. Yeah. And that would be really cool to see her kind of, because she took over the bridge at one point. People trusted her. Poe trusted her to be on his side, and I think now you got to push her as a bigger figure in the resistance. Right. Especially when those numbers dwindle down, it's like who is left. So if that's who's left, that person then is moving up the ranks quickly.
Well,
because of necessity.
If the way it leaves in Last Jedi and even this, you've got like 15 people and then Zay. So so okay, like is Zay now essentially an admiral because there's nobody else left? Like,
yeah. So I think that would be really neat for them to because I'm just thinking of characters that we've seen on screen that are in the Resistance that we could still use and have them rank up in a sense. So yeah. Well, I didn't think of her. It makes sense. She fills sort of that void, I guess.
Yeah.
So
anyway, interesting where we are kind of left off here with the Battlefront DLC. I don't know if we're going to get another one or not. I feel like we probably will, and it's going to be Zay's story.
That'd be cool. But
I don't know really what else they can do because it kind of ends with like leading into Last Jedi. And so I don't know if we're going to.
Well, eventually we'll start to get stories, post The Last Jedi.
Right.
When they do the whole A Journey to Episode 9 or whatever. And they start to kind of fill in. Like they gave us Canto Bight, I think, before I think it was before The Last Jedi. They gave us a bunch of different things. Legends of Luke Skywalker. They gave us backstory on him. Captain Phasma. The Leia book. So that showed the relationship between Leia and Holdo. So they're doing those things to kind of like, you know, because Mike has said before he read the Princess Leia of Alderaan book, and he said he knew right away. Like like in the movies, I was saying, oh man, maybe Holdo's like, because you know Poe had me believing that she's not taking care of the Resistance like she should.
Right.
And I was like, gosh, what a, you know. And having not Mike though, who had read the book, knew exactly what was going on. He knew. He was like, no. He's like, I trusted her from the get go.
Yeah.
And because I knew something was up because, you know, just of how her relationship with Leia and all the sacrifices they had made together before. And I was like, wow, okay, I didn't know that because I didn't read that book. It's one of the books I didn't read.
Right.
So yeah, they'll do more things to kind of show us some new characters coming up, and maybe Zay will make it back in Inferno Squad. You know,
maybe we get another book. Maybe we get, I don't know.
Maybe she recruits a couple more members, and that Inferno Squad lives on in the Resistance, and they do some real high end, you know, tactical stuff.
Yeah, which would be cool. Yeah, so
special forces.
So anyway, all right, that's kind of our quick little review here of the Battlefront 2 DLC and kind of maybe what will happen going forward and kind of what it means to the Star Wars universe so far. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. And as always, may the Force be with you.